That said, here are certain things that I want to say, and this is very serious, and I think I want to make a video about this as well. So, the time that we went to Israel, David and I, you and I, it was it was very dramatic, because David didn't feel anything because he's a psychopath. But for me, I'm like the opposite of a psychopath. If I see very sad, very sickening things, it affects me very, very deeply. It actually deeply hurts me and pushes me to certain extremes. So when we went there, and especially the time that we went to the place where the October 7 attack happened, and we saw a few things, and I also watched some videos after that. Coming back from Israel, I was conflicted because on the one hand, I was it felt like emotionally and spiritually impacted and changed by our trip to Israel. But at the same time, I also started building enormous hate and anger and vengeance. So when we came back from there, that's when I started during you know during some of our live streams saying really, really harsh, really messed up stuff.
Extremely messed up stuff.
Yeah.
Like you sounded like Hamas would sound, but you are against Hamas, right?
Yeah.
You sounded like them. The streets will flow with the blood of every Palestinian. Stuff like that.
So, and the thing is, when I look back at it, if I look at all of that from a non-Christian perspective, I would still think, I see why I would hold those opinions, and I can kind of justify them. With a Christian mindset and with the mindset that I have nowadays, I can't justify them anymore. These were things that I said in the past, such as all Palestinians are Hamas, all Gazans are Hamas. I said those things at the same time as also saying Hamas must be eradicated. What are the implications of this?
Messed up stuff. And I'll go ahead and point out, you kept saying no matter how horrible something was that happened, you just keep repeating, I don't care. Like, it was messed up. You're like, hey, 17 people died. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
At some point, I was saying stuff like, I was saying, so I don't want to get into the specifics of what I said and did not say, but basically my mindset after going to Israel and after being there, talking to people and looking at footage is that I became even more extreme about this, which is kind of which is kind of funny, but I became even more extreme about this than Israelis are actually, and then the survivors are. I took it very, 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 very harsh. I don't know, and maybe it was also because I didn't really have much to stand on. I was just against things, and I was thinking I stand for humanity. I stand for these people that I love. And when I see big mistreatment, I have to react with huge vengeance and anger and hate and all that. So, with that whole mindset, I did say certain things like, I guess there is no other solution. Lots of people have to die. Lots of people have to be killed. Lots of people have to be removed. And no matter how many people are die, this is just they just asked for it and so on. So I did say these things. I did justify lots of hate. I did justify a lot of anger. I did justify a lot of violence. I did say very often that certain people are just irredeemably evil, and there's just no other way to go about it except to simply, get rid of them and all that. I have to say, I can't now go back and correct every single thing that I said. I can't go through my Twitter account and now find every single bad thing that I said and kind of delete it. I also won't say that the sentiment was completely and entirely wrong and unjustified and in the wrong direction. I by no means think that that Hamas or the most of the people in the Palestinian territories are fantastic people. By no means. But looking at it now with a new mind and a new perspective, reacting to everything that I saw with just hate and anger and destruction is not acceptable. And Honestly, it's to certain extents, I also said some really messed up things because I thought it feels good to say them. It feels good to express the anger and all that. I'm just being very honest right now. Uh, I wouldn't say those things today. So if I contributed in the past to contributing more to anger and more to vengeance, more to killing, more to condemnations, and all of that, I have to say I repent of that, and I want to apologize to all those that I have impacted with this, and all those who have been whose lives have been in some way impacted by this, whose thoughts and whose faith and whose sentiments have been somehow impacted by this. I still find myself looking at the situation, at the conflict, very much on the side of the Israelis, insofar that I think that the Israelis are the ones that constantly are under attack by those who don't want them to exist, and I fully want to defend the right of Israelis and Israel to exist. I can still say with full honesty that they were the nicest, the kindest people that I have seen in any country. That said, my wish for their opponents, for the so-called Palestinian people, wouldn't be anymore to just be ruthless with them. It would be that they see a better way, that they learn, that their minds are opened, that God opens their minds and their hearts, that they become better people, that both sides have their hearts softened. As much as I think that Israel is in the right here in this conflict, it is I see it in myself that I have gone that I've gone very very far in hate and vengeance and all that. And of course, it is undeniable that on the Israeli side, lots of people who are in the middle of this war will also be at some point blinded and will be angry and all that. But it is the Bible, the Tanakh, which the Jews also read, which which speaks of being when you have the upper hand and when you fight, of forgiving and of giving the other side a chance and not treating people with endless hate. I have learned a new way, and I have to say, my wish today would be for all those Palestinians to become better people, and even those who have done brutal atrocities. I find myself praying for them nowadays rather than just hating them. And I would hope that even those who have done horrible things in certain conflicts against other people would find it in their hearts at some point to change and become better people. I would hope that Israelis would find peace in the future and have an environment, a world where they can live in peace with all the others. I would hope that and pray that God makes everything in this region better. I don't want to make this like a I don't want to I don't want to make this as a virtue signaling session. That's not what this is about. But I would say that I have probably contributed with my rhetoric to a lot of bad stuff in the past, and I don't want to stand for that anymore. And I want to take some responsibility and get rid of that, and want to pray. And there is something that I said even at those times, and I want to say that again now with full conviction. In the ideal world, the Muslims in the region would convert to Christianity. They would become Christians. And once they become Christians, things would change hugely. And the world, not only their own world, the world altogether, but also their own inner world would become a much better place. So I no longer think or no longer believe or no longer advocate for violent solutions or mass killings and all that, but rather for changing and opening their eyes for a better future and for more hope, for belief in God and all that. So, yeah.
Uh, one question. You said the Israelis were the nicest people in the world. How do you reconcile that with them spitting on you wherever you went? And even more importantly, on me.
Good question. Well, the thing is, you have to see the good and bad in everything. So when you went around being spat on in Israel as a Christian, you didn't have to take a shower afterward. You know?
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point.
See. Powerful, powerful stuff. It is funny though that you were walking around with a giant cross on your chest, and including under the most holy place of Judaism,
At a
in
bar mitzvah.
at a bar mitzvah, in the presence of a bunch of IDF soldiers celebrating, and everyone was doing nothing but kind to you. But then we go online, it's like, oh, don't you know that in Israel they spit on you?
Yes. And people were telling me that before I went there, while I was there. Why aren't you posting the videos of them spitting on you? Stop hiding the truth. And then after, of course.
I want things to change for the better. I don't know how else to express this. But hey, so I think I'm going to make a video about this and also post about this again, because I think this is important, and it has bothered me. There are of course things that I deal with on a personal level, but this is beyond just bothering me on a personal level. This is very public. And I know that over the last 2 years, lots of people have rebuked me online for being very ruthless and messed up. And the thing is,
and you said, I don't care. I don't care.
Whenever people said it, whenever people tried to call me out for being too ruthless or being too hateful and all that, what I felt inside was just, haha, so what? I don't care. And I just wanted to say it again. Things are different now. And I'm very happy where I am, because I know it's, for some people it's very entertaining when I sit here, when people like me sit here and just double down on really, really outrageous speech and all that. But there is an aspect of it which might not be very, very important to you as a viewer, but to me as the person who says those messed up things. And that aspect is how much it darkens me inside, and how much it turns me into a really, really messed up person, and how I feel when I turn off the camera and I am on my own. Because then I am alone with all the really dark and really messed up, really raging, hateful, angry stuff that I say. And then I notice that I don't just hate those people, I hate myself, basically, and humanity, and all that. And I've replaced that hate with hope and faith and goodness. And I'm so happy.